Hi, welcome to my blog. My name is Tom Shue, and today we're going to go over how I clean gear. Every once in a while, you want to give your gear a thorough cleaning. After I do a big shoot, if I've been outside in a dusty environment, something like that, I like to break my gear down completely and give it a good cleaning. I try not to clean lenses very often because they're coated and you can scratch them. A lot of people use UV protectors on their glass. I do not. The reason why is I don't like to take a very expensive lens with great optics and put a $100 filter on the front of it, because now we're degrading that lens down to a $100 lens optic quality. So I, for one, I'm real careful to always use a lens hood. You'll see that a lot of people, when they walk around, they have their lens hood on their camera turned around backwards in the storage position. Well, I don't. I always have mine on the outside, facing out. And the reason why, it serves a couple purposes. One, I'm not going to bump into anything. And two, I'm not going to get lens flare. So I always keep mine facing out when I'm using it. The only time I don't keep it out is if I'm trying to go street shooting. I find that these lens hoods, some people have a stigmatism about getting their picture taken. And every time I've gone out and I've had a lens hood on and a big lens like a 70-200 with a lens hood on, I stand out like a sore thumb, and I can't get those candid shots that people are, just doing their own thing, and I want those shots, and I can't seem to get them, or people get angry when I sneak a picture. But it seems like I'm less obtrusive when I just walk around with my lens with no hood on it. So that's about the only time that I don't use a lens hood. But this is my lens protection, okay? So let's get along with some of the stuff I use to clean my camera. Okay, I've been through a lot of cleaning products, and the only one that I can say that works for me is the brush on the lens pen. I have a bunch of the lens pen minis. I just love the way these are. The brush is really nice and long and soft, and I use this and it fits in my bag easy. So I have a bunch of the minis, the Mini Pros. I don't use so much this side, okay? I use something else. I use microfiber cloths. Whenever you go to a trade show, you'll get these. They're everywhere. These come from Canon, and I think I got maybe 30 of them in one day. They give me a few, and I grab a few extra. I'm not afraid to say it. I grab these things. They're giveaways, and I'm taking them away. But microfiber cloths, they're important. The next thing that I use to clean my gear is a Zeiss Premium Lens Care Kit. Okay, what this comes with is something that's pretty unique that I'll try to find a link and show you. It comes with some really great lens cleaner. It's safe on all optics, all coatings, and it dries really nice. But what is really great are these pre-moistened lens cloths. Okay, what this is a dust-free wipe, like a baby wipe, with the Zeiss lens cleaner on it. Okay, this stuff is great. It comes in a kit, okay, and it comes with a really kick-ass microfiber cloth. It says Zeiss on it, and I use this when I clean my lenses. This is the one that I use that only touches my glass when I'm doing a thorough cleaning. If I'm just knocking some dust off my camera bodies and stuff like that, or the lens bodies themselves, I use these other microfiber cloths that I pick up at trade shows. Great thing about these pre-moistened lens wipes, these pre-moistened lens cloths, is they come in aluminum foil, and that's great, so they don't ever evaporate. But what I'd like to do is I like to reuse them. Okay, so I keep a Ziploc bag, and I keep the tin foil that the one came in. So these will last me a year. Okay, 4 or 5 of them. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll fold it back up and stick it away. So I get all the dust off first with the brush and the blower, and then I use this pre-moistened cloth with the lens cleaner that you can buy in bulk. So the kit comes with a small bottle, okay? It's just the Zeiss lens cleaner, and you can buy big bottles, okay? So I fold these up really nice and I put them away when I'm done with them, and I reuse them. I just love the way they smell too. They smell so good. No, I'm not like Jared Polin and Fro knows everything, where I do the sniff test, but this stuff just smells good. Okay, so as far as cleaning my cameras and lenses, I knock all the dust off with some throwaway brushes that I buy, little hobby pen brushes, paint brushes, and then I cut them off so they're a little firm, okay? And this one actually needs to be cleaned. It's got some dust in it, but we'll get that taken care of. Next thing I use is this Giotto's, I don't know how you say it, Giottos, Giotto's rocket blower. This works pretty good. It's got a little nozzle on it, but I find it's really hard to get it exactly where you want it, because whenever you squeeze it, it flexes. See, it's moving. I wish it stayed stationary, like this one here. This is a secret that you'll find at Harbor Freight. It's designed to clean the cracks on concrete. So it's a concrete cleanup bulb. Has a brass fitting on it, and it's got lots of power, and it doesn't move around because it's not really long. Okay, so when you spray it, you can direct the air exactly where you want it. So that's what I use. So let's get started here. First thing I do is I'll just take my brush and I'll knock off any dust that I find on this lens and body. Okay, I'll take the eyepiece off. Okay, and I'll dust this out. Give that a good cleaning, and I'll clean this with some cleaner. But first, I get all the dust out. I work off of a cloth. I try not to work on like a hard surface, because the hard surface, the dust just settles and it sweeps back up. Okay, when you move around, when it settles on the cloth, it kind of stays inside the fibers of the cloth. So I try not to shake the cloth around, but when I knock the dust off, it just goes onto the cloth that I'm working from, just so it doesn't fly around as much as working on like a hard surface. So I just go through and knock it all off as best I can, because my camera bodies get dusty. I'm in everything, okay? So then after I've got the dust off pretty well, what I'll do is I'll take the lens off and put the body cap on, and I'll work with, after I've cleaned the body real well, I'll work with blowing the inside of the lens mount area and the mirror box area. I'll work with that next. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I don't have a lens cap, so I'm going to take a lens cap off of one of my older lenses that I don't use very much and face it down. So this is how I switch them. I take my lens cap, I get it ready, okay, and I take the lens off, and I put the lens on, and I just put the cap on real quick, okay? So I try to do it that quickly. And then I'll finish dusting off the body. Okay, the body's not as critical as the glass, but I try to clean it all. Okay, get the hot shoe area. Okay, and then I'll take off, with this grip, you can't remove the grip, the battery grip completely. So I'll take the batteries out first. Okay, and I'll clean that. And I'll blow out any dust that's in there. I know this seems kind of silly, but if you don't blow this stuff out, it just builds up and it gets gross. And I try to take good care of my gear. Pay a lot of money for this stuff. It's good to take care of it. So I'll just slide the grip off and get the contact area and in between the body. Okay. So just blow this sucker out. Get the brush in there. Not gonna need a brush out. Blow the contacts off. Be surprised where dust ends up going. I like to face stuff down when it's a hole so the dust can come out. All right. Now I'll just stick this back on there. Okay, so the grip's on now. All right, so we're good there. So I'll set this to the side, and we'll clean a piece of glass, and I'll finish cleaning this in a few minutes. So I'll clean one of my favorite lenses, is the Canon 85-1.2. It took me a long time to be able to afford this lens. I try to buy gear only with the money that I earn from my camera. I learned this lesson hard. Zach Arias actually was one of the first people that I heard verbalize the things I was going through, which was going broke trying to buy camera gear. You know, you see in the forums all this great gear that people have, and you know, these nice pictures they're making with it, and you know, this is a kind of a legendary lens in in 35 millimeter circles, and you see these beautiful lenses, these beautiful images that are made by this type of lens, and you want one. Everybody that I know wants one. Actually, there's only one person I've ever heard say something bad about this lens, and it's Sal Cotta. He says the focus is too slow, and he can't use this lens for the type of work that he does. I've actually shot sports and painting cars and all kinds of stuff with this lens, and he uses 1DX bodies, so he should have a fast enough AF system to work with it, but he doesn't like it. So I try to get all the dust out of the lens. So they're lined with felt, and they get dust in them really bad. So we'll just blow this off, just like we did with the other one. Actually, I'll start with the brush, and I'll get it all out of there, around the edges. Let's work with the outside of the lens first. You know, you get it in these rubber grooves a lot. I try not to brush onto the window, but I'll run the focus button up and down and get in there. And then when I'll power it up, I'll finish cleaning the lens too, getting all the dust out, because this lens goes in and out. So let's do that real quick. Put this on. And a lot of people don't do this when they're cleaning their lenses, is actually run them up and down on the focus. So let's get that cleaned up real quick. The main thing is you want to have a short distance, a short time span between when you take the cap off the body of your camera and when you put your lens on. Okay, so at the 85, you'll see that it's not internally focusing. That means the element protrudes the lens itself, the group of elements. So you want to go ahead and clean this off, because dust will accumulate on that. Okay. All right, so that's clean. So we're going to go ahead and turn it back off. Actually, I'm going to turn it back on again. I'm going to run this down closed. Turn it off. So here we go. I'll have this cap in my hand ready to go. On the cap. And then on the body. Okay. So we'll set this to the side. So with lenses, it's every time that you rub on the front surface or the back surface of the lens where it's coated, you are removing some coating. I know people say, no, you don't, but I'm telling you, you are. I shoot a lot of large format, and you can see old lenses will exhibit cleaning marks. It's where the actual coating on the lens has been worn off from cleaning, okay? Those cleaning marks come from cleaning. They're not there because somebody took sandpaper to it. It's because somebody rubbed on the coating. So I try to be real careful. Now I won't use these brushes on the surface of the lens, but I'll blow it off real good. I will use my lens pen brush on the surface of the lens. Okay, so you just kind of work your way real easily, and just kind of work your way down from one side of the lens to the other, till all the dust is at the bottom of the lens. Okay. And then blow it out at the bottom. And that thing flexes so much you have no control over where that is going. Okay. So now I'll cap up the front until I'm ready to use the cleaner on it. I'll do the same thing to the back. Blow it off first. Then I'll use the lens pen. And I'll brush all of the dust down to one side of the lens, most of the time opposite of the contacts. And then I'll kind of just dig it out like that and blow it off. Okay. There's actually, this is a little firmer ball, but there's about the same amount of air coming out of this as this rocket blower, and these things are like $4, okay? So this looks pretty good. Now we'll use the lens cleaner. Also clean the caps, Okay. Make sure that, if there's one area of your system that's dirty, it's just going to transfer the dust everywhere else. And when you've been out on location, you're going to shift dust around. It's going to get in your gear. Now you have to get it off. I don't like dirty sensors and I don't like dirty glass, so I try to be real meticulous about how I clean it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my lens cloth out, and I'll give it one blow or so with this, make sure there's no loose dirt on it. And like I said, I reuse these and I store them back in the aluminum foil that they came in. Once I get a tear in it, then I'm done with it. So I'll give it a shake with this guy. I never spray this on the optic itself. I give it one spray on this, and I kind of fold it up and let it absorb in there. The idea isn't to saturate the surface, it's just to moisten it and wet it, okay? So I'll start on the outside, and I'll do a circular motion right around the edge, okay? And then I'll just rub straight across. I don't want circular marks on my glass. So I just go straight across and I rotate it. Now everybody has their own way of doing something. But if you've ever cleaned a CD, a circular mark and a pattern, it kind of ruins the disc. But if you go opposite the grain, it seems to work better for scratching. All right. So basically this stuff just blows right off and it leaves your lens perfect. Okay, I had some dust settle on it. Now that I've got any kind of oils or anything like that off the lens element, this is where I use the microfiber cloth. And I use my breath to clean everything. So I give this a shake. Now just rub the glass real gently. Now we're just trying to get those marks off from the cleaning cloth. And your breath works perfectly to do that. Okay? And then I'll just go around the edge. And the back element is clean. It's perfect. Okay, we'll put the cap on it. And we'll go to the front. Same thing. Use the lens pen again, make sure that I got everything the way I want it. Okay, clean the lens cap out. .72 millimeters is the front of the 85, in case you guys are wondering. And I know this is a pretty boring tutorial, but this is what you have to do if you want to take care of your gear. It's amazing how much dust accumulates on the gear. Okay, one last blow on this. We'll take this up, blow it off. All right. I kind of fold this up a little bit and spray on the inside a couple sprays. All right. Fold it so it kind of transfers the moisture. The whole idea is you don't want to spray onto your element. So find the kind of the damp area of the cloth. Let's work my way into the edges. Try not to put a lot of pressure on it. Just barely wiping it. And then I'll go across the lens element. Rotate it and go across the lens element. Rotate it and go across the lens element. And you can't really go across the outside edge, so I just kind of go in there with a little bit and clean it after I've gone across the edge. All right. Now, this is pretty much clean. All of any kind of debris that's attached to it, moisture, molecules, dust, that's all gone. Now we'll use our breath and the microfiber cloth to clean it up. By the way, guys, this is a beautiful piece of glass. If you've never got to hold one of these or play with one, when you go to the camera store, have them show you the 85 1.2, and you'll fall in love with just the way it looks. It's called the keg because it kind of looks like a keg. And I can't tell you how amazing this piece of glass is. I use it a lot. It's just, when you finally can step up to one of the nicer lenses Canon has, you'll really question why you haven't done it sooner. I know it's a matter of affording it, but I just did some extra jobs, and when I finally decided to get it, and it only took me about 6 months of working really hard to be able to afford the lens. And now doing the jobs I've done with it has paid for itself in the first job, okay? But it seemed like it was an absorbent amount of money. And I'm just barely dragging it across the surface. And I look at it from different angles and see if I missed anything. And I probably clean this, maybe clean it like this. I don't know, maybe once every 3-4 months it gets cleaned like this. Normally it's just blowing it off and touching it with the lens pen brush. But it won't get a good thorough cleaning like this. But maybe every, 3 to 6 months, I should say. So there it is. I don't know if you can see it, but this baby is sparkling clean. Absolutely beautiful. Not a mark on it. Okay? So we'll put the caps on it, and we'll clean the body of the lens. Pull this off one more time. And I just don't want to have cleaning marks on my lenses. That's why I don't clean them like, every time I use them, give them a thorough cleaning like that, because you will wear the coating off. People will tell you no, and I'm telling you, yeah, you will. This one I'll spray right on these microfiber cloths, and these cloths are those ones I get at the trade shows. Okay, let's go and clean up all the rubber, clean up all the plastic, make it look like brand new again. Because you'll get these skin little marks in between the little rubber grooves. And I like my gear to stay nice. I want it to last a long time. Not only for resale value, but for out of respect for my gear. Because, I spend a lot of money getting this stuff. And, I know those people say they use their gear. But using your gear and trashing your gear are two different things. Right? You don't need to trash your gear or not take care of it because you use it, right? I've had this lens for a little over, I'd say maybe a year now, and yeah, it'll stay with me forever. I'll never sell this lens. Even if I did move to Canon, like when I moved to Nikon, I shot Nikon for a long time, and I went to Olympus. I loved Olympus in film cameras. And then when the E1 came out with Olympus, I loved it. Then I went to the E3. And then when the E5 came out, I was pretty disappointed that they didn't have, they had motion JPEG video. And it was kind of late to the party again with them. And my favorite lens in the world for 35mm DSLR is a 35-100 f2. There's nothing like it anywhere. Imagine the 70-200 2.8L, but as f2. It's amazing. It's a beautiful lens. It's legendary like the 85, and if you ever get a chance to play with that, you want to play with it. So the reason why I say that, when I keep the 85 1.2, is the same way that I keep my 35 to 100 f2, along with my Olympus E1. Olympus E1 to me is the epitome of what a DSLR should be. It's my favorite camera in the world to work with, and I'll never sell it. So there's just certain gear you won't sell. This is one of them. So here we go. We got the first one clean. Now I'll clean the body up. Let's go over some of the stuff that I have on the table here. I don't shoot a lot of zoom lenses. I mean, I have them, but I don't shoot them that much. I wish Canon made a 20 millimeter L lens. They don't make it. 20 millimeters is one of my favorite focal lengths. They make an 18, they make a zoom, but as for prime, I think Canon needs a fast, like a 21.4. I think they need that in an L. They'd sell the shit out of them, but they won't make it. It must compete with something that they, whatever. So I shoot that. Before I got my 85, I shot the 51.4 a lot. I used to have a 7D, and the 51.4 is close to the focal length as the 85 is on a full frame. Okay, as far as the field of view, and this is a pretty fast glass, so I like the 51.4 a lot. One of the lenses that doesn't get a lot of love, which I have several of them. I've been shooting them since film, because I have a Rebel film camera that I have had for a long time, that I shoot the 28 to 135 zoom. It's not a fixed aperture, which means that it will change. So when I'm using it in the studio, I just lock it in on the highest aperture, okay? And it's just a great lens, right? People don't give this thing much respect. It's a 3.5 to 5.6 IS lens. It makes nice pictures. I don't know what to say. It's a sleeper. So if you ever get a chance to play with that one, I got this as a kit lens. This is my second one that I've owned. I got this as a kit lens with my 7D when I used to have a 7D, and I kept it when the 7D went away. Another lens that I'm going to catch hell for is one that I've had with, again, with my film camera that I really like. It's the 100 to 300 zoom lens. Again, this is not a fixed aperture. It's a f4 to 5.6, and this lens makes great pictures. You know, I wish that it was the 100 to 400L, but it's not. I work with what I have, and if I need to go past 200, which is my 70 to 200, I use this one. So set that down. The next lens is a real sleeper that a lot of people don't use. This thing is a tack driver. It is sharp. This is the 70 to 200 f4L non-IS. You can get this lens for around 600 on a forum, but I tell you what, with the high ISO capability of the 5D Mark III, being able to take pictures at 3200, 40, 6000 ISO, and get away with 4x6, 5x7 prints, I can use this lens in bad light and make keeper pictures, especially stuff for the internet or small prints. I'm not going to use this thing indoors without strobes very often, but in the studio, this is a wonderful lens. The only difference between this and the 2.8 version is the viewfinder is not as bright, because when you put your camera lens on your camera, it opens at the widest aperture, and that's what the viewfinder is. So it's open when you focus and take the picture. It stops down to whatever aperture setting you have. It takes the shot, and then it opens back up. So if you've got fast glass, you're going to have a bright viewfinder. So this doesn't allow for a bright viewfinder. This is just incredible lens. I've carried around the 70 to 200 f2.8, and it's a beast. It's so heavy. And this guy here you can carry around all day long and not have a problem. So if you shoot daytime sports, or if you shoot in the studio with strobes, this is a good one. Another thing I like to clean when I've been out is this is a viewfinder. I use this for doing some video stuff, which I'm starting to do more of. But the main thing I used it for in the beginning was check and focus. Yeah, you can zoom into 10x, but imagine being able to analyze the frame at the pixel level right at your camera. Zacuto makes a thing called a Z Finder. This thing's wonderful. You just wear it around your neck, and it pops right on the back of your camera. So if you're taking shots, and you want to check zoom, it's real easy. You stick it on there and just zoom, check it. Stick it back down, take shots. You want to check critical focus, make sure you're good to go. Stick it on there, check it. It's just great. Another piece of gear that I use that needs to be cleaned is right here. It's an Expo disc. If you don't have a light meter, this will tell you what to set your camera at. If you set your camera in aperture priority mode, stick this on there, take a shot, face it towards the light. It will tell you what ISO to set your camera, not what ISO, but what aperture, and what shutter speed to set your camera at to get a proper exposure, which is pretty nice. Also sets white balance. It's a great product. Buy the big one, the 77, and then you can use it on your smaller lenses. But if you buy the small one, it won't work with your bigger lenses. Okay, so that's about all we have for today. I'm going to finish cleaning up these lenses. Oh, I also cleaned my light meter. The optic on my light meter gets dirty. I use this a lot, and it has a nice lens on it on both sides. I like to clean this too. So clean your gear, take care of it. Remember, good cleaning stuff. Air blower, Harbor Freight, $4. Lens pens, and Zeiss. Get the Zeiss cleaning cloths. They're worth it. The microfiber cloth that comes with the deluxe lens cleaning kit is the best microfiber cloth that you'll ever own. So take care of it. It'll last you a long time. Thank you all for putting up with this long blog post. And until next time, we'll see you soon.